Hi there, my name is Rachel Hansen. I wanted to spend a few minutes today talking about the historical role of nonprofits. Now we'll be spending a few minutes just talking about historical contributions to the nonprofit sector, some current issues that are affecting the sector on an international, national, and local level, and then some areas that I think are ripe for innovation. Now, before we begin, I also just want to address during the historical component, there's some language that's used that is not really acceptable anymore and doesn't reflect the way that I would speak about things, but in the interest of historical accuracy, that is a language that I will be using. I do also want to note that at the end of this video, there will be a reference page. So if you're interested in learning more about what I'm talking about, you can see where it is that I gathered my information. Now, according to Renz, volunteering was used to combat a variety of social ills, including drunkenness, violations of the Sabbath, treatment of the insane, as well as providing support for educational and religious pursuits. Now, Harvard President Charles W. Eliot campaigned for the expansion of higher education, stating, "The American people are fighting in the wilderness, physical and moral, on the one hand, and on the other they are struggling to work out the awful problem of self-government. For this fight they must be trained and armed." Now, gifts and bequests to Harvard rose from 1.6 million to 5.9 million between 1841 and 1890. So clearly his plea worked with generous philanthropic donors. Now, these very generous donations also transformed Harvard into a research institution and changed the face of American professionalism. Now, men like Rockefeller and Carnegie gave generously as a result of their religious beliefs. At one point, Rockefeller's chief assistant told him, "Your fortune is toiling up, rolling up like an avalanche. You must keep up with it. You must distribute it faster than it grows. If you do not, it will crush you and your children and your children's children." This very extreme amount of giving led to the creation of corporate entities to distribute the funds in a fair and scientific way. Now, as far as current conditions go, there are two things that I think are really have a strong impact on the state of nonprofits. Now, the first is trust. Now, NPR recently reported that only 37% of people polled trust the Trump administration, and only 29% of citizens trust Congress. Now, this is notable because many nonprofits get their funding from the federal government. So if people can't trust where the money is coming from, how are they supposed to trust the institution itself? Now, NPR reported that the American Red Cross spent 25%, or nearly $125 million, of donations to Haiti on internal expenses. Now, this is an amount that they did not disclose. So this lack of transparency really has left the public feeling very jaded about philanthropic giving. Now, in addition to this trust component, there's also an accountability component. Now, again, according to Renz, while ownerless collectives can be used for the public good, they can also be used to benefit the elite, carry out tasks of an authoritarian government, or spread terror. Now, there are many nonprofits, most I would put to you, that are honorable and are doing incredible things for the public good. But many of them will say, that they're accountable to the people because we're the ones that give them the money. But that can be a little bit tricky, I would say, because although I, Rachel Hansen, may not be giving a certain nonprofit money because I don't have any, there are people that are a lot more wealthy than I am, or probably you are. So that can be really tricky. It's something that you need to be transparent about if you're thinking about opening your own nonprofit or pursuing anything really in the interest of the public good. Now, there are some areas for innovation. Now, nonprofits are really experiencing some pressure right now to become more business-like. Now, McDonald notes a growing trend leading organizations away from their mission. He suggests that for nonprofits to truly innovate, they must have a clear mission and stay close to it. Now, the term nonprofit is somewhat misleading. Like you think, and I have made this joke myself, you're not in it for the money, which is true, but you do need money to pursue the goals in your mission. So having a model that is more business-like, and I'm sorry for this flickering light, this light bulb above me, sometimes just does not like to stay lit all the time. So a nonprofit having a more business-like model is really, excuse me, not really innovative exactly because they need money, but it certainly would give them what they need to achieve their goals. Now, as far as employee retention goes, it really is notable that millennials make up about 40% of the workforce right now, and that's according to Kevin Kruse, who is a columnist for Forbes magazine. Retaining millennials will, according to Balda and Mora, take some broadly defined goals that allow servant leadership to flourish. So, to my peers out there, just keep fighting the good fight, because we're close to half of the workforce already, and people are going to want to keep us. Now, finally, Saros, Cooper, and Santora suggest that the nonprofit sector has a strong collective conscience that leads employees to just know in their gut how things work. But they suggest that a move towards a more solid leadership role in gathering some data about the leadership styles that are successful in creating a successful nonprofit would be very helpful in allowing nonprofits to continue to innovate. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And if you like the video, feel free to like it. If you want to subscribe, go right on ahead. I'm not at the point where I'm doing real regular content yet, but if you like my style, there will definitely be more. And there we go. Here's a references page. I will also include those references below so that it's a little bit easier for you and you don't have to just pause this slide if you are interested in learning more about the sources. So thank you for watching and have a great night.